don't even know what the I was saying, but it was something to the effect of like, I love you and I hope I didn't make you mad for the I did. I just thought I was doing what was right.
And the way this is going, it looks like a certain type of thing is going down. We gonna see. It was amongst friends, and when it went down, he was surrounded by...
Would you be comfortable saying that you believe Diddy had nothing to do with it?
No, I wouldn't be comfortable saying that because I don't know.
It appears 2Pac's brother just dropped some heavy hints about the truth behind Pac's death, and it's got everybody side-eyeing Snoop Dogg.
If you look at all the theories, the theory involving him is quite high on the list.
Now, he didn't outright accuse Snoop, but he did connect a few dots, like Diddy possibly being involved, and how Snoop was way too tight with Diddy back when everything went down.
Now, for Snoop to say him and Michael Harris are doing something together as a team, that tells you a lot of, I'm disappointed in that because if it weren't for me, you'd still be in prison.
If you've heard Suge Knight's old claims, you know the rumor mill has been buzzing for years that Snoop might have had a role in setting Pac up.
You turn around and you said you partners up with this dude, neither one of y'all got death row, or bought death row, or purchased death row.
So where does this all leave Snoop? Is this finally the moment where everything catches up with him? And if Snoop was involved, what role did Diddy really play? Let's find out. Nearly 30 years later, and Tupac Shakur's Emder is still driving everyone wild. It's like the hip-hop world just can't let this one go. And honestly, who can blame them? There's betrayal, beef, and shady friendships all wrapped up in this unsolved mystery. But now, things are heating up again, thanks to some eyebrow-raising comments from 2Pac's brother, Mopreme Shakur. And let's just say, if the case ever reopens, Snoop Dogg might be in for one hell of a ride.
I wanted to make it clear that the family is pursuing an investigation into my brother's death. Wherever the investigation leads, that's where it leads.
In a recent interview, Mopreme Shakur stirred the pot by implying Diddy might have had a hand in taking out 2Pac. Just when people thought this cold case was done and dusted, bam! Las Vegas detectives arrested Keefe D Davis, a 60-year-old gang leader with deep ties to some serious street business. Keefe D's name has been floating around the hip-hop conspiracy ether for years, so the fact that authorities just now picked him up has left everyone wondering, what took so long?
For 27 years, the family of Tupac Shakur has been waiting for justice. We are here today to announce the arrest of 60-year-old Keefe Davis.
Keefe D's arrest has sent shockwaves through the entertainment world, offering a glimmer of hope for those still craving justice for 2Pac. But for Mopreme Shakur, this moment feels more like déjà vu than victory. He described it as bittersweet, his raised eyebrow conveying the fact that they had been well aware of Keefe D's involvement for many years. The million-dollar question that continues to loom large is why did it take authorities so long to apprehend a suspect who had been openly divulging his role in the crime?
We were just all in the car together.
This was the white Cadillac?
Yeah.
Okay.
According to Mopreme, this arrest hasn't provided the closure that many had hoped for. Instead, it has stirred up past traumas. For decades, Tupac's family has borne the weight of mourning the loss of an iconic figure without any semblance of retribution. Over the years, a multitude of conspiracy theories have swirled around the Emder, and a solitary arrest is unlikely to alter people's perspectives. Mopreme firmly believes that more individuals were involved in his brother's Emder, and he is urging authorities to intensify their investigation to identify everyone responsible.
We deal with the loss. My nieces, nephews, my sister, my brothers, we all miss him.
Now, Mopreme didn't point fingers directly. He's careful with his words. But the way he talked about Diddy's possible involvement got people side-eyeing all over again. It's no secret that 2Pac and Diddy were knee-deep in the East Coast-West Coast beef, so it's not that wild of an idea. Diddy had a lot to lose if 2Pac stayed on top. Bad Boy Records and Death Row were basically at war. But here's where things get weird because this isn't just about Diddy. Snoop Dogg, of all people, is also caught in the crossfire. And trust us, the rumors about Snoop's role in all this, they go way deeper than most people realize.
This is our family.
We peacefully coexist right now because we all cool. Everybody's here, everybody's...
Snoop Dogg and 2Pac were supposed to be tight. They were both on Death Row Records, rolling with Suge Knight and dropping bangers left and right. But as things started heating up between the East and West Coast camps, Snoop wasn't exactly riding for 2Pac the way everyone expected. Rumor has it that Snoop started getting real buddy-buddy with Diddy, which didn't sit right with 2Pac. Let's be honest, 2Pac was out here calling out Bad Boy and going full savage on Hit 'em Up. And meanwhile, Snoop was apparently playing it safe and staying friendly with the enemy.
There's no competition. People are really making too much out of it than it is. It's really just, if you want to talk, we're gonna make it specific as to what you could talk about and what you can't talk about.
Things got so tense between Snoop and 2Pac that there are stories of 2Pac straight up ignoring Snoop during a flight back from New York, just days before 2Pac was gunned down in Vegas. Snoop even admitted in later interviews that 2Pac gave him the cold shoulder during that trip. Can you imagine the tension on that plane? Two rap legends sitting in silence, knowing they were drifting apart. Wild stuff. But the real kicker came from Suge Knight. Now, Suge isn't exactly known for holding back. This dude throws accusations like confetti. Over the years, he's floated the idea that Snoop Dogg might have been involved in some way with 2Pac's Emder. Suge Knight has resurfaced with additional revelations about the inner workings of the 90s West Coast hip-hop scene, asserting his significant role in the Snoop Dogg M case. The latest installment of Collect Call with Suge Knight, broadcast on November 9th through Dave May's Breakbeat Media, delves into how the former Death Row Records head claims to have saved Snoop Dogg from a potential life sentence.
What you mean when you say that he'd still be in prison?
Because when Snoop got convicted for the
Knight boldly asserted, "If it weren't for me, Snoop would still be in prison doing life," as he recounted the events leading to the infamous trial. In 1993, Snoop Dogg and his former bodyguard Malik faced first and second-degree Emder charges related to the death of Philip Little Smooth Woldemariam in Los Angeles. Detailing the legal strategy, Knight recalled a crucial moment. The lawyer said, "Well, the bodyguard has a 9mm, so we can't say he protected Snoop and shot the guy. Snoop had a .380. Oh, I said, we'll be bodyguard had a .380 and Snoop had a 9mm. And he got shot with a .380, right? He got shot with a 9mm. But since Snoop had the .380 and the bodyguard had a 9mm and he got shot with a .380, all the bodyguard gotta say is he was using .380 bullets in his 9mm. Knight continued to explain his intervention, claiming to have spent $6 million to tie up loose ends. This included settling a blackmail attempt within Snoop's circle, even meeting with a private investigator to set the record straight. According to Knight, this intervention led to the destruction of an alleged incriminating tape.
got through a gang sign to them, they'd start chasing them in a Jeep like that. They shoot. And the guy got shot in the ass.
Suge Knight has raised concerns about the legitimacy of Snoop Dogg's control over Death Row Records, suggesting that the rapper acquired ownership of the label through questionable means. In an audio recording released by TMZ in April 2023, Knight, who is currently incarcerated, discussed Snoop's role as the owner and CEO of Death Row. According to Knight, Snoop's stake in the label is linked to an alleged criminal act involving both Snoop and Michael Harry O'Harris, a convicted drug kingpin and an initial financial supporter of Death Row Records.
Right. If you look at it, they committed fraud. They committed bankruptcy fraud. I didn't lose my company by doing anything wrong. They went in and
When prompted for his opinion on Snoop's ownership, Knight expressed doubt about whether Snoop is the rightful owner of the label that gained prominence in the 90s. Knight went on to accuse Harris of engaging in bankruptcy fraud, a revelation he claims he and his legal team discovered just a week prior to the recorded phone call. Snoop has a partner, which is Michael Harris, right? The 58-year-old told the outlet. If you look at it, they committed bankruptcy fraud. I didn't lose my company by doing anything wrong. They went in, and the lawyer didn't show up, and they got a default judgment. I settled the judgment. They turned around and said I didn't settle the judgment. Knight strongly asserts that the sale of Death Row was not only illegal, but also a crime, accusing Harris's wife and legal team of knowingly participating in the fraudulent activities stemming from the 1995 bankruptcy claim. According to Knight, when they filed for bankruptcy, they explicitly denied any connection to Death Row, and he insists that their lawyer was fully aware of the deception.
the lawyer didn't show up, and they got a default judgment. I settled the judgment. They turned around and said I didn't settle the judgment, but they committed bankruptcy fraud, which we just found out for sure last week.
Continuing his argument, Knight emphasizes the legal discrepancies surrounding the sale and acquisition of Death Row Records in light of Harris's previous bankruptcy filing. He passionately argues against rewarding someone he views as having committed a grave crime against black people by attempting to transfer ownership from them to white individuals. Knight firmly believes that he and Death Row are inseparable, expressing his determination to reclaim the label he played a pivotal role in building. You can't take a person who committed the worst crime of the century to take Death Row from black people to try to give it to white people, he said, and think you're gonna turn around and reward and say he's gonna grab Snoop and he's gonna go get it back and have Death Row. It don't work like that. So if we're gonna talk about something, let's talk about it. Despite Snoop Dogg's announcement in February 2022 that he had acquired Death Row Records through a deal with MNRK Music Group, Knight remained adamant about his claim to the label. He declared, "I am Death Row. Suge Knight is Death Row," signaling his unwavering determination to retain his connection to the label he played a pivotal role in building.
And you can't commit bankruptcy fraud and settle and do those type of things. So the same guy you see in the series, when you see all of his deposition in prison.
In February 2022, it was announced that Snoop had acquired Death Row Records in a deal with MNRK Music Group. However, the terms of the deal were undisclosed. Snoop released a statement reacting to the news, which marked a full circle moment in the rap legend's illustrious career. "I am thrilled and appreciative of the opportunity to acquire the iconic and culturally significant Death Row Records brand, which has immense untapped future value," shared the Gin and Juice rapper. "It feels good to have ownership of the label I was part of at the beginning of my career and as one of the founding members. This is an extremely meaningful moment for me. I would like to personally thank the teams at Blackstone, MNRK, and especially David Kestenbaum, who worked collaboratively with me over several months to make this exciting homecoming a reality. I'm looking forward to building the next chapter of Death Row Records." However, Snoop has also himself revealed that he once escaped an attack by Death Row and ended up in jail. On BET's No Limit Chronicles, Snoop Dogg recounted a harrowing incident when he narrowly escaped an attack by individuals loyal to the then Death Row Records CEO Suge Knight. This incident unfolded backstage at the No Limit Records I Got the Hookup Comedy Jam in Los Angeles in May of 1998. Snoop, who had recently departed from Death Row for No Limit Records, found himself confronted by Knight's associates over comments he had made about Knight. When asked about Knight's remark that Snoop had transitioned from being a superstar to a No Limit soldier, Snoop responded with a succinct "nothing," adding, "He used to be a CEO, now he's just an inmate." Snoop directed a middle finger at the camera, presumably aimed at Knight. During the confrontation backstage, Snoop was surrounded by Knight's associates who insisted he owed Knight an apology. When Snoop's response didn't satisfy them, a physical altercation ensued. Snoop managed to escape unscathed, but chaos erupted. The other No Limit rappers, including Master P, halted their onstage performance to rush to Snoop's aid.
Suge Knight made money in rap. Master P put money in rap.
Break that down.
Big difference. When I was on Death Row Records, we made a lot of money.
Amid the turmoil, with gunshots on the song playing in the background, the unaware audience contributed to the confusion, leading to a riot. Despite evading the attack, Snoop's night took another unexpected turn. Trying to save himself, Snoop inadvertently encountered law enforcement who found M in his possession. He was handcuffed and placed in the back of a police car. He said, "I get a whizzy, no cuts, no scars, no hits, no nothing," Snoop said, "but I run right into the law, with weed in my pocket and everything because I'm trying to save my life. They handcuffed me. They put me in back of the police car." Snoop Dogg and his cousin, rapper Daz Dillinger, found themselves in jail that night due to marijuana possession. To their surprise, upon entering the jail, they discovered the presence of a familiar face. Ray J, reflecting on the incident with laughter, Snoop shared, "They take me and my cousin Daz to jail, and when we get in there, Ray J is in there. So we spent 4 hours in jail with Ray J. I'm not fabricating this, man. I'm not making this up." The shocking part in all these things is Snoop's emder. In an interview on the Black Effect Podcast Network with Cam Capone News' McKinley Lee Jr., Snoop Dogg's former bodyguard provided a detailed account of the 1993 emder of a rival gang member that led to first-degree emder charges for both Snoop and Lee.
When I tell you this story, you're gonna find out that it was about Snoop, but it really wasn't about Snoop because they knew the truth.
According to Suge, Snoop was looking out for himself and might have had a little too much loyalty to Diddy back in the day. Suge even hinted that Snoop may have distanced himself from Tupac on purpose, knowing things were about to go down. One person wrote, "I have a feeling Snoop and Dre know more than they say." Another one added, "Like Tupac said, your enemies is my enemies, he rode hard for Snoop when he had beef and he stood by his side in court when Dre didn't even show up." Of course, Snoop's denied this every chance he's gotten. He's always tried to paint a picture of him and Tupac being besties to the end. But people aren't exactly buying it. In fact, some fans and insiders have pointed out that Snoop's stories about Tupac have changed over the years, and not in a good way. One minute, he's saying they were close, the next minute, he's downplaying their friendship. And let's be real, when your story keeps changing, it only makes you look more suspicious.
No, because we were death row, and that's the life we was living. We felt like we was untouchable until that fatal day.
What really gets people talking is how Snoop acted after Tupac was offed. While most of death row was devastated, Snoop seemed to be, well, weirdly chill about the whole thing. He kept his distance from Suge and the death row crew after Tupac's death, and eventually jumped ship to sign with Master P's No Limit Records. People started wondering if Snoop knew something everyone else didn't. Like maybe he was trying to get as far away from the situation as possible before things blew up. And then there's that time Snoop casually dropped the bomb that he smoked with Tupac the night before the Vegas shooting. A claim that other people close to Tupac have said is pure cap. It's little things like this that have fans side-eyeing Snoop, wondering if he's trying to rewrite history to make himself look innocent. Now here's where things get really interesting.
That's what I signed my contract to Death Row Records for, to make good music and perform and put out good albums. I didn't sign a contract to hurt nobody or make people hate me or hate people. It was just to make good music.
Mopreme Shakur hasn't accused Snoop of anything directly, but if this case ever gets reopened, there's a chance Snoop's name could come up, with Suge Knight still sitting in prison throwing out wild accusations, and Mopreme calling for answers about Diddy's involvement. It wouldn't take much for Snoop to get pulled into the drama. And let's be honest, if investigators start connecting the dots between Snoop, Diddy, and 2Pac's Emder, things could get messy fast. Snoop's been living his best life lately, but if any of these old rumors get traction, he might have to answer some uncomfortable questions. Well, everyone knows that at the night of shooting, Suge was also in the car. People believe that he might be panicking now because Suge knows everything that happened that night. It sends a clear signal that law enforcement is drawing closer to Davis, who had previously asserted that Diddy distanced himself from him years ago. These unfolding developments suggest that Keefe D's revelations could have far-reaching implications that extend beyond his own involvement in the crime.
Do you feel like Puffy owe you?
Yeah, he should. I think he should look out. He look out for everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
And now, we arrive at the most pivotal aspect of this riveting narrative, the potential link between Sean Diddy Combs and Tupac Shakur's Emder. Diddy, the music mogul extraordinaire, has skillfully treaded the fine line of legal scrutiny regarding his alleged involvement in the crime. However, recent developments in the story are thrusting him back into the searing spotlight. A multitude of individuals, ranging from ordinary onlookers to A-list celebrities, have spun a complex web linking Tupac's Emder to Diddy in various ways.
Everybody already having the in the back of their mind, like, that you had something to do with it.
The theories surrounding Diddy's potential involvement gain credibility when one delves into the enigmatic motives and concealed intentions beneath the surface. Detective Greg Kading, a former member of the Los Angeles Police Department deeply involved in the Tupac Shakur Emder investigation, sheds light on the intricate web of Diddy's alleged role. Kading proposes that Diddy's possible motive could have been to protect himself from the ire of Suge Knight, who was actively seeking retribution for the 1995 death of a friend in Atlanta, an incident for which he held Diddy accountable. Greg said, "Perhaps what they were doing was saying, he's already tied the noose now, let's let him hang himself. You didn't just say it twice, you didn't just say it 5 times. And so now you've got this compilation of so many confessions. The perception is that it's going to be hard for him at this point to say, hey, I was just kind of boasting, making stuff up." The real intrigue lies in how Diddy became aware of Suge Knight's vengeful intentions. It's almost as if he had a crystal ball foreseeing the impending danger. This awareness does raise a significant question mark, hinting that Diddy might have had access to inside information, potentially through someone connected to Suge Knight's inner circle. And who could better fit that description than Keefe D, the central figure of the moment, renowned for his reputed gang affiliations?
Yeah, I think he should look out. You know what I'm saying? He worth $1 billion. He should come look out. Come build a basketball gym at our Parkers. Do something.
Well, now Suge's revelations are causing quite a stir among the rappers who were associated with different M cases, but with the help of Suge, they managed to save themselves, but now people are raising questions on the justice system too. At the end of the day, the streets are still buzzing about who really offered 2Pac, and the fact that we're still talking about it all these years later proves that the mystery is far from over. Whether Diddy, Snoop, or someone else was involved, one thing's for sure. If the truth ever comes out, it's going to flip the whole hip-hop world upside down. Until then, the rumors will keep flying, and fans will keep wondering who really had a hand in taking down one of the greatest rappers of all time.